Hawkins, Cynthia Freeland, Greg Rosenthal.
Hi.
Guys,
I missed
good
you.
to see your faces.
It's been too long, Rachel.
What have we been up to? Me, not a whole lot.
I just unplug when the football season ends, and now they plug us back in for schedule.
We got to get ready to go.
Going.
Well, today is a good day to come back, I think. We've got a lot of very exciting things to talk about. But before we get into the unveiling of the schedule, you got to do something for me, okay? Scan the QR code on the screen with your phone or tablet and follow the link to purchase tickets today to see your favorite NFL matchups. Purchase in the next 48 hours and receive 25% discount to NFLshop.com and be entered to win a pair of Super Bowl tickets. Come on to Arizona. All discount codes will be sent from the NFL 1 week post-purchase via email. Okay, are we ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready, Greg? Are you ready?
Unveil it, please.
Should we do a drum roll? Or I feel like maybe it should be official. Thank you, crew. Okay.
That's nice.
Let's do this. Let's see this thing. First up, the Stars will be out in full force on Thursday, September 8th at 8:20 p.m. Eastern on NBC and Peacock as the Super Bowl champs kick off the 2022 season against the Buffalo Bills. Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey take on Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. That guy right there, Von Miller, makes his return to L.A. We are lucky to get this one as it's part of the 17th game rotation that has been added to the schedule this year. Next up, NBC and Peacock also have a Monster Sunday Night Football matchup. It is a matchup of a rematch of last year's kickoff game as Tom Brady and the Bucs under new head coach Todd Bowles head to Big D to take on Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, and the Cowboys Sunday, September 11th at 8:20 p.m. Eastern. That one is going to be very exciting. Okay, and next, CBS and Paramount Plus kick off their 4:25 p.m. Eastern Sunday afternoon slate with two huge games. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs face off against his college coach, Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler Murray, and the Arizona Cardinals. In the start of a wild season in the AFC West, the Derek Carr, Devontae Adams Raiders, that still sounds weird, connection debuts against Justin Herbert and the Chargers right across the street at SoFi Stadium. Here is a full look at the Week 1 schedule. What do we got? Bills-Rams is going to be unbelievable.
Yep.
I'm excited to see Eagles-Lions after they've been on Hard Knocks. After they've been on Hard Knocks.
I'm with you. I love that game. Saints-Falcons,
like that.
Quietly the best rivalry in the league.
Very quietly.
Okay, this is
So
the next
quiet.
page. Guys, we're absolutely spoiled Week 1. Bucs at Cowboys, Broncos at Seahawks.
It's the best
Russell
week of football
Wilson
of the year.
returning to Seattle. We don't even have to work for this one. We just get it Week 1? You're going to give it to us that easily?
Too easy. Yeah.
Hawk, I'm going to start with you. Now that we've seen the schedule, what games are you most excited for?
Yeah, I'm looking at that Steelers-Bengals game. You know, obviously I'm an AFC North guy. I think this is going to be the most competitive division in football. And what I'm looking for the Bengals, a lot of people are suspecting that the Bengals' glass slipper fell off and that their chariot is going to turn into a pumpkin. Is this chariot that's in the
I don't.
Yeah, the
Chariot.
chariot.
that
Yeah,
sounds
the chariot.
okay.
Yeah.
wrong.
You know,
Sure.
It does.
Whatever.
It sounds very wrong. And then also people are down on the Steelers, right? And so
We're back,
the Steelers,
baby.
Tomlin, have never had a losing season. The Bengals want to show that they're for real. And this Week 1 matchup is going to be prime for at least getting us closer to answering a lot of those questions.
If they turn cherries into pumpkins.
No, chariot.
Oh, cherries.
Chariot.
We both heard cherries, and I was like, that's...
I heard you, Hawk.
Thank you.
Chariot.
Thank you.
Chariot.
Sin, what do you like?
All right, I'm looking at that one across at SoFi Stadium when the Bills come to town to start things off on Thursday night. That game could potentially be a Super Bowl preview, and that's not too big of a statement to make because both of these teams are strong favorites in both of their divisions. I want to see if does Von Miller get salty like that, you think, or I don't really know, or does he just he's just too cool for school?
He's too cool.
I don't know, but I think it's going to look like a lot of fun. I'm very much looking forward to that. And the best part, when it's over, there's still a full weekend of football.
Love it.
So that's why it's the best game just overall.
Mayhem.
Good call.
Yeah,
They
we're
both had
spoiled.
great off seasons, too.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah.
Allen Robinson, sneaky, good play there. Because
Rams put out the best, most expensive video I think any of us have.
Ever. How great was
How
that
much
video?
did that cost? We all want to know.
We want to know. And then when
Actually,
was
tell us
the
now.
to be
audition?
honest with you, I think I know. I'll tell you later.
Somebody, please.
I can't wait.
Call us
Commercial
next
break.
time.
Greg, what do you like? What are you most excited about?
I got to go with the obvious pick here. It's Seahawks and Broncos on Monday Night Football. This is almost too much too soon, like Rachel was talking about. This matchup is so great because it's a true revenge game. They can smile and say nice things.
Yeah.
But Russell Wilson wanted out of Seattle. I mean, he worked this for over a year to get out because he didn't believe Pete Carroll was the right coach for him.
Wow.
Pete Carroll traded him in part because he didn't really believe Russell Wilson was as good as Russell Wilson thinks he is, which is like a top 5 type of quarterback. And you know who's also coming in to this mix?
Who's that?
Geno Smith.
Oh,
I know they
Let's
put this
go,
game
Geno! We
in
love
week
Geno on
1.
this show.
Okay, here's how it works. They thought maybe Seattle's not going to be good this year, so we better put this game in week 1 before they're bad. But they're wrong. They got another thing coming.
Yeah.
This is going to be like when Aaron Rodgers took over for Brett Favre and the guy beneath him was better. Geno Smith's getting it done in week 1. I love it.
Guys, there's so many good games. I'm really excited for Chargers-Raiders. They ended their regular season together. It's only right that they start their regular season together. This game at the end of last year was so much exciting. Overtime, I think it ended 35-32. It was high scoring. Now we're going to see Derek Carr, Devontae Adams. They love each other. They're like family. What are they going to look like when they play football together in the NFL? I am so excited for this game. Also, I'm just excited to see the Chargers this year. I think that they could be pretty good.
Put a pin in that, Rach.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll come back to bite me in the butt. We're so excited for those week 1 games. Let's talk about something else. Amazon Prime Video is the new exclusive home of Thursday Night Football, and they kick off their slate with a huge AFC West matchup, Chargers at Chiefs, which produced one of the most exciting Thursday Night Football games of 2021. Here's a look at the full Thursday Night Football schedule, which extends to Week 17. We got Tua versus Burrow, Dolphins at Bengals, Matty Ice versus Russ, Ravens at Bucks, Titans at Packers, Raiders at Rams, Cowboys at Titans. There's some really good games in here, you guys. Cynthia, what Thursday Night Football game do you have your eye on?
Week 14, the Raiders come to town not to play the Chargers, but to play the Rams. I think that might be the true battle for the LA fans because those Raiders fans, I see them everywhere around here.
You're right.
And I don't know who's going to be more, the Super Bowl winning team or the team that thinks that they're the LA Raiders, but just happen to be located in Las Vegas.
Ooh.
So I'm really interested to see. Plus, we'll have had a chance to see kind of who these teams' identities are. What does Josh McDaniels have to do with like all these fun pieces on his offense? So I think this is gonna be a fun one, and I'm actually almost even more curious to see what the split of fans is.
That's a good point. Yeah. Great.
I'm going to go with Week 8. It's Ravens and Bucks. Of course, this is the quarterbacks and the contrast of styles when it comes to Lamar Jackson and Tom Brady. It's also just like thinking about beyond the game. You know, Tom Brady's played his whole career, and he's going to make more money broadcasting games for Fox than he ever did as a player. I think Lamar Jackson is the man to change the contract structure in the NFL once he eventually gets to free agency, making $50 million a year. And I think Lamar could be a lesson, and Tom Brady could be a lesson for ex-players, as Hawk kind of pointed out this week. Pointing out that Tom Brady is a guy like Hawk who made more money. This was like the best humble brag ever.
Yeah.
You know what it was?
It depends on what side you're looking from, because from the player side, my son was very disappointed in me that I was so bad as an NFL player. That I
mean, you weren't doing that bad. Like, the contract data's out there, so that means you're doing great.
Welcome to the club, Tom. We meet on Tuesdays bi-weekly.
Bring donuts.
Yeah.
Is there a Thursday Night Football game that you're looking
Absolutely. You talked about it a little bit. I'm going with the Chargers versus the Chiefs. That's right. The Chargers quarterback, who is Rachel's biological father, he will be taking on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. The Chiefs have owned this division for a number of years now, but the Chargers made a ton of big-time moves. Khalil Mack is there. J.C. Jackson is there, and they're looking to show and prove that, hey, we are here. We were a winning team last year, and we didn't get in the playoffs. Now we're going to solidify. So I think this will be a huge matchup for this division.
I love it. I'm going to go Week 17, Cowboys versus Titans. Cowboys have one of the easiest strengths of schedule. I think they're like second easiest.
Yep.
Cowboys, you got to do something with this.
Yeah.
Okay? And I think that we are going to know whether it's, Week 17, obviously, we're going to know if they've done something with it at that point. But, Greg, you made a good point earlier when I was on the podcast. This is like when they tend to blow it.
Yeah, thanks for the Around the NFL podcast.
There you go.
I really do.
It is.
No one handles success worse than the Cowboys.
There you
every
go.
time they have a good season, they blow it the next
This
year because
could
they
be-
believe their own hype.
Yeah, this could be an implosion. This could be Jerry could already be having a parade. We don't know. We're going to find out, but I'm very excited. Okay, more game day view coming your way. This is what a treat that we get. Don't go anywhere.
The Rams were built to win the Super Bowl, and they have sealed the deal.
The Rams are gearing up to repeat, but are there some big-time roadblocks in the Super Bowl champs schedule, including the Bucs, as Brady's got some unfinished business before he hits the broadcast booth. Plus, when will the Bills and Chiefs get back on the field together after their classic playoff matchup?
Mahomes looks to throw it. Pump faking, right side, he wants it. A comeback cut. It is caught by Kelsey. Touchdown!
We'll unveil the rest of the 2022 schedule and all the big-time matchups next on NFL Game Day View. Schedule release presented by Verizon.
As mentioned, Amazon Prime Video is the new home for Thursday Night Football. Here's a portion of Rich Eisen's interview with Thursday Night Football announcers Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit.
Really just coming out of the gate. I mean, the first four games, not just Chargers and Kansas City, you get a great AFC North matchup with Pittsburgh and Cleveland. They both have some challenges and some question marks. We'll get some answers there early in the year. Miami going to Cincinnati, Joe Burrow. A lot of talk about Cincinnati maybe being a fluke, last year. And I know they're excited to try to show people that they are not. Miami's made all those changes. And then later, what a stretch with Tennessee at Green Bay and Buffalo at New England. Some great games. So I think this is, I don't know how you felt, Al. This is the first time I've had a chance to talk with you as well, but I was thrilled when I had a chance to peek at our first schedule.
Yeah, you take a look at that schedule, and there are things, as I say, that do jump out at you. And there are other games, but I mean, I've been around long enough in the National Football League to know if you look at something like in the middle of the year, Atlanta at Carolina is not going to jump out at you. But as I say, in the National Football League, every week there are a couple of games that you look at it and you go, well, that's not a game that I really need to watch. And it turns out to be a barn burner. So it's exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun. And, of course, when you're dealing with a Thursday game, the teams only have 3 days rest. It's like a pitcher working on 3 days rest, except these guys have to go all the way, not just 5 innings. And I'm excited to get going. And as we say, week number 2, off we go to Kansas City and our first look at Patrick Mahomes.
Kirk, I imagine that was a CBS game when Tua and Burrow played each other back in the SEC days. You're going to get to see those guys playing each other as professionals for the first time. That's going to be dynamite in week 3.
Yeah, and changes they made with Tyreek Hill going over, it opens up some opportunities probably for Jalen Waddle. So I think they're anxious. A lot of people feel that Miami could be maybe an example of what Cincinnati was a year ago, and here they get a chance to play them early in the year. The other game that kind of stands out to me is our last game. The Dallas Cowboys going to Tennessee to Nashville to take on the Titans week 17. You get late in the year. Al had a classic last year. You never know what could happen and what's at stake and who needs what. So that has a chance, at least on paper, as we sit here in May, has a chance to maybe be a big game for both those teams.
And Richie, one other thing here. In looking at that schedule one more time, week 8, the middle of the season, late October, Baltimore at Tampa Bay.
Yes.
You got Lamar Jackson and Tom Brady. That's pretty good.
Yes, no question
really
about it.
Good.
Second and goal. Pass. Caught! Got it. Touchdown. This guy has had some year. 4th and 1. Donald right there. They'll go from the gun. Burrow trying to keep it going. Gets spun down. Gets it away. And incomplete. The Rams now running down to celebrate with a defensive play.
And guess who?
Pointing to the ring finger. Sean McVay gets the Gatorade bath. The Rams were built to win the Super Bowl, and they have sealed the deal.
To be the best, you gotta beat the best. The Super Bowl champs face one of the toughest roads to repeat as Super Bowl champs. On paper, their 2022 opponents have the highest combined winning percentage in the NFL. The Cardinals, Bengals, Bucks, 49ers, and Chiefs all face tough roads to return to the playoffs. FanDuel Sportsbook projects the Rams' 2022 win total at 10.5. Sin, will the Rams have more or less than 10.5 wins? What do you think?
They sure will. I think that's low. First of all, you don't get me started with strength of schedule calculated by last year's opponents. They're not the same team.
Oh, wow.
Don't get the math started. Number
Do the
two.
math, Sin.
Yeah, seriously.
Do the math.
Do the math, right? Where's the do the math segment? Look at week 14 and week 15. That's on the left side of your screen. They kind of have like a baby bye there because they have a Thursday night game against Vegas, and then they wait until Monday Night Football to face the Packers. That's actually beneficial when you have a schedule as hard as theirs, especially with that week 7 bye. So it kind of times out nicely that they'll get 2 little lulls in the schedule, and they'll be able to kind of enter the playoff period, maybe even getting a little bit healthier. So I think that's an advantage for them. But I think it's 11.5 wins.
What do you guys think? You on the same side?
Yeah, I'm with him. Put some respect on Sean McVay's name. I mean, like, the only time they didn't go over 10 wins since he's been there is when Jared Goff turned into Mitchell Trubisky for a year. It's like, he's going to be fine. They're going to be fine.
Or Geno Smith, depending on who you ask.
Hey, well,
on the defense, they have the best player on the last 10 years in the league on each level of their defense. And Aaron Donald on the D-line, Bobby Wagner at the linebacker spot, and Jalen Ramsey on the back end. They'll get 10 wins.
There you go. All right. The Bucs' 2022 opponents have the 3rd highest winning percentage in the league. FanDuel projects them at 11.5 wins, tied for the most with the Chiefs. Greg, 11.5 wins.
I mean, this is another, I know that sounds high, 11.5. It's not that high. They won 13 a year ago. I am going more than an 11.5. They are 22-5 over their last 27 games. Most of those losses are to the Saints. I don't think the Saints are going to sweep them again this year. I'm convinced Tom Brady only returned because he was so embarrassed that the Saints beat him twice, including shutting him out the last time. So week 2, he gets his revenge on the Saints. They are going to be dog walking those other NFC South teams, Atlanta and Carolina. This is not that tough a schedule. That's why the number's so high, but they're going over it.
I'm going more as well, just basically based off of the news that we heard this week. This has got to be Tom Brady's last year.
Got it.
Hello, ka-ching,
Too much money
ka-ching,
out there.
ka-ching. There's too much money on the line. So I think he's going.
So
for
you
it
think
this year.
because he's making a lot of money next year, he's going to try harder?
I think
this
that
year?
it's just weird for that news to come out. It's obviously going to be soon. I think that this is his last year. I'm going to say that right now.
Do they get to play 17 games? Because if they're not playing this is way too low. I think they're going to be higher than that, right? It feels like that would be the number if this were 16 games. So I think you're getting an extra game for free. And I still think they get to play the Falcons twice, and they get to play the Panthers twice. So that seems like it's a really nice advantage as well. And I'm with you. I think that Tom Brady makes this his swan song, and we get angry Tom Brady. I see a lot of revenge games in there. Green Bay.
NFC's not as good as it was. This
No, the NFC is nowhere near as good as AFC.
All right, let's get to the easy schedules. On paper, the NFC East 2022 opponents have the top 4 lowest winning percentages, with the Lions opponents coming in 5th. The Cowboys ran away with the division last season. Hawk, more or less than 10.5 wins for America's team this coming season.
Absolutely more. I mean, the Cowboys play in the NFC North, a very easy division. They're playing the AFC South, another very easy division. Last year, they went 6-0 in their own division. They also got home games against the Bears, the Lions, the Texans. 10 wins should be easy for the Cowboys.
Disrespecting Cynthia's.
I thought disrespect.
Main word, should.
It is disrespect. It's not my fault.
Sin, what do you think?
I'm actually going under on this one. I don't think the Cowboys win the division. I think that this is the Eagles' division. When I look at the strength of schedule, we're
going to talk about that.
Opponents, the people that are, the actual teams. The Cowboys have the toughest in that division. Remember, this is a division that they don't, since 2004, the same team has never won back-to-back. So last year was the Cowboys, and this year's going to be the Eagles.
Right. They, like I said, they don't handle success.
And the Commanders got better.
And they're different than when Mike McCarthy arrived. Like, he inherited a great team. That offensive line used to be special.
Yes.
It's not special anymore. The wide receiver room used to be special. It's not special anymore. Like, it's not the same roster. I'm going less.
Who's the best quarterback in the division?
Jalen Hurts.
Ooh, I like that.
Let's talk about this team.
I like it.
Hold on, let's talk about this team, because we heard some hot takes in our meeting earlier. I'm excited to talk about
later.
Okay.
All right, the Eagles snuck into the playoffs last season, but after a strong offseason and draft, FanDuel has them at 8.5 wins. Cynthia, more or less? We use it way more.
If these were stocks, this is the most mispriced stock that I've seen.
Yeah.
If they were all stocks. So this is the most mispriced stock, right?
Wow.
So they're not Bitcoin. This is like a fundamental. This is like an Amazon. You buy low and it's going to go up. You know it's not Bitcoin. You stop that with those crypto references. But when I look at the Eagles and I look at that schedule, apart from week 1 when they're at Detroit, which, I'm going to give my Motor City Kitties a little shine here. I think they have the best chance there of at least getting to 10 wins. They win the division. I like them to win the division. I think maybe this was priced before A.J. Brown was on the team. I don't know.
Dak Prescott might be better than Jalen Hurts. Doesn't mean that the Cowboys are better. That offensive line and defensive line are so deep. If we could have picked a more or less for the write this down segment, this is what I would do. I'm excited to invest a lot in this.
Let me ask you guys this. I was reading about how Jalen Hurts has been a very popular early lean for MVP. Are you buying into that?
I love that.
Right?
I like Jalen Hurts.
Ever since the draft, apparently that has been very popular.
I think that's a bridge too far for me, but I do actually think I think Justin Herbert's my sneaky right now MVP.
Her dad?
Your daddy.
Guys, we don't need to. The people don't know what we're talking about.
Yes,
but just in case you do, Justin Herbert's not my daddy. Just in case you do, Justin Herbert is not my daddy. All right, we have more Game Day View coming up, so don't go anywhere.
Revenge is a dish best served cold, right? When will Carson Wentz make his return to Philly? And it's teacher versus pupil when Shanahan hosts McDaniel. We are talking marquee matchups of the 2022 season next.
CBS and Paramount Plus have an awesome opening slate featuring Patrick Mahomes and Kyler Murray and Derek Carr and Justin Herbert. Rich Eisen caught up with CBS's Jim Nantz and Nate Burleson.
What leaps off at your CBS NFL on CBS schedule?
I always start out by looking at the doubleheader games, and in the doubleheader windows, we're going to have a bunch of Kansas City. We're going to have Cincinnati a few times. We got Tampa Bay a couple of times. We got the Cowboys, the Packers. I mean, some of these matchups are phenomenal. I even love our Thanksgiving game, which is Buffalo at Detroit. Of course, we knew we were going to be in Detroit this year. It's interesting the Bills are going to be playing on Thanksgiving for the third time in 4 years. So they've made this almost an annual pilgrimage.
You spoke on a few games that jump out to me. The Bengals, Cowboys. The Cowboys, they have been America's team. And for the last few years, let's just call it what it is. They have been one of the most talented rosters on paper, and they haven't fulfilled expectations. And then on the flip side, if Dallas is America's team, what are the Bengals? I mean, what are they, the America's new underdog story? But the wild part about it is they're not underdogs. Last year, they proved to be big dogs. I was there. We were there watching that game where the Bengals are sitting there in Kansas City, and all of a sudden it's like watching your little brother grow up right in front of your eyes. And we know what the Bengals did. They retooled that offensive line. They're not going to have Joe Burrow out there running for his life. They want him to sit comfortably in that pocket and deliver balls beautifully to his wide receivers. And we know Jamar Chase is going to show up and show out like he did this past season.
No doubt about that. And, if you need any more evidence of how the world of the AFC has changed and how the era of Brady versus Peyton dominance is now over. You guys mentioned how excited you are to have the Bills and the Bengals on your schedule over and over again, and nobody's batting an eyelash at that. You couldn't be more correct. And then you've got a Christmas Day game with Denver in the home of the NFL champs that could have easily been the kickoff game of the year.
This Christmas Day game, I am excited. Who would have thought Russell Wilson, after all he did for my city of Seattle, would land with the Denver Broncos, and they're going to be in L.A. Christmas in Beverly Hills, baby. Well, it's going to be in L.A., downtown L.A. to be exact. But what I love about this game is the fact that you have the Rams, who lost Von Miller, lost OBJ, but what did they do? They retooled. Allen Robinson, Bobby Wagner. It's almost like they lose superstars and then add some bigger ones. So I'm really excited to see what Matt Stafford does this season, because he did exactly what he was brought there to do last year. But there's a difference between going to win a Super Bowl and then being a Super Bowl champion and defending that.
We haven't had football in our lives for 3 months. Not really got much going on. Just been doing a lot of sitting, finding new hobbies. But the schedule's come out today, which means we're that much closer to football. People keep on asking me if I've lost it. No.
18 more Sundays to go till we see Big Red in his Hawaiian polo. 18 more Sundays to go. It'll be Tommy's last year, so babies, come on home.
The season this year, you guys, is chef's kiss. We've got Russell Wilson going back to Seattle. We've got the Rams and Chargers playing for the first time ever at SoFi. Whose house? You gotta share it.
18 more Sundays to go till the tables break in Buffalo. 18 more Sundays to go. Niners and Cards down in Mexico.
Speaking of international games, we've got 3 games in London town. Hello, Queen. Aaron Rodgers crossing the pond, isn't it? Oh, also, each Glaub mein Schweinfeit, which means we're going to Germany.
18 more Sundays to go. Is it the Cowboys' year? Probably no. 18 more Sundays to go till the young guy meets the old guy.
I'm Joe.
Listen, the season is going to be here faster than we know it, and it's important to not lose it before then. Find things to do. Watch other sports. And it'll be here in no time. What am I supposed to do for the next 4 months? I can't keep playing maracas.
So good. So good.
I
again.
need to find a hobby.
Really, the dancing.
That is the hobby.
puts it
No, the
over
dancing was great.
No, I think I
It's the subtle looks. It's the subtle looks about like when he says, "Oh, it's too much."
Thanks.
Too much.
I think it's safe to say that I am ready for football to be back in my life. Time now for Marquee Matchups presented by Verizon. We'll start with you, Cynthia. Which marquee matchup are you most excited for this season?
Well, you mentioned it in your song. They're going to have to share the house. Whose house is it? We don't really know. Is it going to be the Rams or is it going to be the Chargers? That game, Week 17, almost the end of the season, could have huge implications because the NFC West and the AFC West are both extremely competitive. So when you look to see, okay, they need one in this crucial time. This could be not just for seeding, it could be for an entrance to the playoffs. This is a big game right here.
Plus, this is another one we're going to be curious about who the crowd is rooting for. The sneaky thing about these two teams is they really don't like each other. And I'm not talking about the players. I'm not sure the players really care, but the organizations don't necessarily.
It's amazing.
Love it.
Buy into it.
I feel
Blow
like they
it
try
up.
to keep
Make
that
it
quiet,
bigger.
but make it a big.
Make it a big thing. MLS does with El Trafico, with LAFC and LA Galaxy. People love it.
Yep.
What do you? What's your marquee matchup?
My marquee matchup is Week 13. I like the Dolphins at the 49ers because you got McDaniels going against Shanahan, his first time out of the nest. You talk about Holmes. He's been with Shanahan for 15 years, right? And so now he's at the helm in Miami.
Boy. Let's just
These are my guys,
I just
man.
had a vision of Shanahan.
I really like
McDaniel
him.
out of the nest.
I have never even envisioned them not being together. So I can't wait to see what happens. We always talk about how Shanahan has had McVay's number at times. Obviously, McVay got over the hump in the playoffs. But I am curious to see how the Shanahan-McDaniels match.
How do you think your guy's going to do? Because I feel like McDaniels is the one guy that you would go beyond his staff for. You
know what? I think there's a couple things here. You know, like when there's 3 siblings, let's call it 3 brothers, and I come from 3 brothers. The second one in command is always has a thing for the older one. He can never get over the hump. The youngest one is always the nut, and he's not scared of anybody. I kind of feel like that with McDaniel. I don't think he'll have the complex because he's just yo, let's just try some stuff.
Which one were you?
You're the nut.
I was
You're the nut. Okay. I was going to say.
Absolutely the nut.
All right, you know who else is a little nutty? Anyone that roots for the Kansas City Chiefs after they collapsed against the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm looking at that game in Week 13. I feel like it's kind of gotten lost in the shuffle that the Chiefs blew a 21-3 lead at home against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, you don't have to emphasize the name.
I'm just saying they scored 3 points in that second half, and even that took a lot of work. That was their Super Bowl to go win. This was supposed to be their dynasty, and the Bengals went and took it from them. You want a revenge game? I know this one is in Cincinnati, but if Joe Burrow wants to be the type of quarterback Patrick Mahomes is, where he's among the best players each and every year. He's got to go win games like this year after year.
Rachel, I know you love their defensive coordinator.
Oh, we met him at the combine. Best night of my
Lou, she's
Big Lou Adorumbo. Big fan. I really just like to say his name.
That's the best part.
We keep on talking about these revenge games. You know who has multiple revenge games on the slate is Carson Wentz. He plays both of his former teams.
Yeah.
He plays the Eagles week 10, November 14th. He also plays the Colts at some point as well. How is this going to turn out, you guys? What do you think? Is Carson Wentz going to come out on top? Is he going to really fit with the Commanders?
The gold jacket was a little pretentious over He should have gone the other color scheme.
Should have gone.
Look, I think he's going to try to take command. But I believe that when he plays the Colts especially, they've kind of made it their offseason thing that, like, oh, we're good now. We got rid of Carson Wentz.
Right.
Like, and that's not just like a couple.
Put the chip on the shoulder.
It's like the owner. It's the general manager. So that's some real revenge.
I think their offensive coordinator called Matt Ryan a breath of fresh air yesterday, something like that. Yeah, it's a lot of shade.
Hurtful.
Lots of shade.
Spicy, lots of revenge on the schedule. All right, more game debut coming up. Don't go anywhere.
We are heading outside the States for all the big-time matchups taking place abroad in 2022, including Brady making an appearance in Germany. And out west we go. The AFC West is stacked, and we'll dive into which team's schedule is set up best for success.
NBC and Peacock have a great set of games. Week 1 between the Bills and Rams and Bucks and Cowboys. Rich Eisen caught up with the new voice of Sunday Night Football, Mike Tirico.
Bills and Rams, man, I mean, that is going to be huge, followed by you flying off to Dallas for the Bucks and Tom Brady taking on the Cowboys. What a great week 1, Mike.
What an unbelievable week 1. You know, a lot of people thought Buffalo and the Rams would be what we saw for Super Bowl 56. And then, of course, Buffalo, if the overtime rules are different, maybe they get to the AFC Championship game, get to the Super Bowl. So we'll see that for the opener as Buffalo finally gets to make the trip to SoFi and the banner goes up. And then Tampa-Dallas was the opener the year before. It was a great game in Tampa. Came down to the very last seconds, and we'll see that game in Jerry World to get us started on the first Sunday night of the season.
And then you get a taste of Bears-Packers is the second week. And then in the same spot that we saw Brady visit New England last year, week 4, Chiefs and Bucks, you'll see Brady in that spot. What a great month to start the season.
It's an unbelievable run. The 205th Bears-Packers game. You mentioned Russell Wilson, his success against San Francisco when he was with Seattle. To go out to Denver, which will be a couple of times. And then Brady Mahomes. I mean, we saw it in the Super Bowl. If you think about the 4 games they played before that Super Bowl, Tom won the first 2, Patrick won the next 2. We know they were great games. They score around 50 points a game when those 2 hook up. So that'll be a great, maybe the last chance to see them on the same field together. Who knows? But out of the gate, those first 4 weeks of Sunday night, in addition to the opener that you talked about with Buffalo at the Rams, is a blockbuster start on the way to Primetime's #1 show again next year in all likelihood.
And the Bengals-Ravens after that. Burrow, as we know, absolutely torched Baltimore last year, and so on and so forth. Packers-Bills with Rodgers visiting Western New York to take on Josh Allen. What else might be leaping out at you here, Mike?
Yeah, I'm looking at the quarterbacks, Rich, right? This is a quarterback league, and of the 17 games you see there, 15 of those games have at least one quarterback that has played in the Super Bowl. We got Stafford against Allen at the beginning and Herbert at the end of the year. We've got Allen taking on Stafford and Rodgers. We got Brady against Mahomes, we mentioned, and Dak Prescott. We got Mahomes going up against Brady as well during the year. So we have all these great matchups with these quarterbacks. That Green Bay at Buffalo game, which I think is the day before Halloween, to go to Orchard Park for an Aaron Rodgers appearance at Orchard Park on October 30th. I'm looking forward to that scene. And look, then you go to Kansas City the very next week. We know what Arrowhead is like on Sunday nights.
As previously announced, the NFL will play 5 games internationally in 2022, including the return to Mexico City and the first ever regular season game in Germany, featuring the Bucks and Seahawks on NFL Network. And we will have you covered week 15 for a Saturday triple header on NFL Network. The games aren't decided yet, but we'll have the pick of the litter between Dolphins at Bills, Ravens at Browns, Colts at Vikings, Falcons at Saints, and Giants at the Commanders. And finally, spend Christmas Eve with us as we'll celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception when the Raiders head to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers in a game that is only happening because the Raiders beat the Chargers Week 18. Feels like fate. Feels like fate, guys. And with that, it is time now for Good Side, presented by Griffles. Greg, I think this is supposed to be an old joke, so I'm going to apologize in advance, but what do you remember about the Immaculate Reception?
Dare
I didn't write it.
I get it. You're
when
much
you were
younger.
10 and the Immaculate Reception happened, what do you remember?
It was a cold day in Massachusetts, and I worked the bunny ears on my television and just saw it happen. It was very exciting.
Beautiful.
Look at this.
I think it hit the ground. No.
Nope.
No, it didn't.
Nope.
No.
Great catch, Franco. That's a statue in the Pittsburgh airport.
It really is like one play
statue.
changes so much of what you think. It's like that play we're talking Raiders-Chargers from Week 18 a year ago. Remember they picked up that 3rd and 23 on the ground, and that changes everything.
Okay, Sin, which of the 5 potential Saturday Week 15 matchups do you want to see on our network?
Who is it? Scheduling God, whoever it is that we get to choose from? Go get the Dolphins at the Bills. In Week 15, it's cold up in Buffalo, so you're going to see the Dolphins. They're going to have to – McDaniel's going to have to figure out what to do. Will they wear wetsuits under it? We have so many things to know. Dolphins, Bills. It's going to be a big game. That's the one I want. Give me all of that.
He can't wear those Yeezys he's been sporting at.
Who do we have?
Who's been wearing Yeezys?
McDaniels has been wearing Yeezys.
Boy.
Your boy.
I'm going to work in Buffalo, Mike.
All right, last season, 7 teams made the playoffs after missing it the previous season. The Raiders were one of those teams. What an incredible story they had last year. And with all the movement in the AFC West offseason, the Broncos and Chargers are looking to make that leap. So, Cynthia, I'll throw it back to you. How will the AFC West race be impacted by the 2022 schedule?
The order, when the buys are, all of these things are going to be a big difference maker. Now, I will say, the Broncos have a nice, easier start. Easier, it's not easy, but easier start, which is good because when you're adjusting to a new quarterback, you need a couple games to get on the same page with your receivers. Then, when you look to see, okay, Patrick Mahomes, there's been a number of changes there, namely Tyreek Hill. Good thing Travis Kelce is still there. But if you look on the other side, that defense, you see Steve Spagnuolo defenses typically take a few games.
Yep.
The Chiefs get one advantage here. They faced the Cardinals without DeAndre Hopkins. So that went from being a hard game to being not quite as hard of a game because you don't have DeAndre Hopkins there. So adjusting for their defense where they made some maneuvers there, they have a better chance to win that game.
All right, what about the AFC North? I certainly have questions. What do you think? How does the schedule impact the AFC North?
I think it's really both in their favor because you talked about the AFC West, and they're one of the most traveling divisions with this schedule. Like they had to change like 34 time zones, I think, for LA Chargers, 30 time zones for the Raiders. On the AFC North side, the Steelers don't leave their time zone a single time.
Wow.
I think the most is the Bengals with 4, and then the Browns and Baltimore twice. So that's favorable. And we know the Steelers, they never have losing seasons. So it'll just be a battle within the division to kind of split some of these games, and they'll probably be in pretty good shape because the schedule is definitely favorable for the division.
They also get to play the NFC South, and to me, that's a good division to play going up against Carolina. And
Look at the comparison of hand sizes.
You really went there, huh?
Just the teeny tiny little.
Okay.
I was very curious, though, to see what the Browns schedule was going to be as well, because we still don't know if Deshaun Watson is going to be suspended to start the year. And when you look at their schedule, a lot of their easiest games are early in the season. Carolina, the Jets, you have the Falcons early. You also only have the Browns twice in prime time the whole season. I don't know what that means, but I know if Deshaun Watson wasn't facing all of the sexual assault and misconduct allegations that he is, that they would be in prime time a lot more. It's almost like the NFL is like trying to hide them because otherwise they are a team that would be in big time games.
Circle number 5, week 5. See who it is? Chargers. The AFC West is so razor-thin margins that Chargers game, should anyone not be available for that team, that the Browns, whatever, that could be a game where the Chargers then now win a game that they maybe before would be more competitive and wouldn't have won, and that will change the complexion of the AFC West. It could change the complexion.
Okay. More Game Day View on the way. Don't go anywhere.
Now, we couldn't end the show without breaking out the foam fingers. We're talking win totals for the Patriots and Packers in More or Less when we return.
It's time to get on your feet.
Let's ride.
I've been working on a top secret mission of putting together the Giants schedule. Perfect. No one asked me to do this. That's how much of a secret it is. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Shocker.
Thank you for calling United Airlines. How can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to change my flight from Green Bay to London.
Are you Premier status?
No. But I am elite. Who are the Commanders? When did that happen? Double birds! I know people in high places at all the teams. Hey, how's my favorite Victor? Y'all play indoors, right? So I don't have to worry about the weather. Let's do, I'm thinking night game. What about a Thursday night? Okay. How about Thanksgiving? No, I don't want to do Thanksgiving. I got plans. This is going to be a lot harder than I thought. All right, I'll call you back with some other ideas. It always feels good when you take on a challenge and master it immediately. Ooh, that was a bad idea.
Eli?
Hey, Pate, let me...
Eli, I told you I'm working. Don't bother me.
Peyton. Always a big help. Ooh, not that one. You gotta cut that. This is going to be my masterpiece. What's up, Coach?
Hey, Eli. You want the 2022 schedule?
Yeah, thanks. Wow.
Eli, you redecorating or something around here?
Yeah, something like that. That was pretty close. On to the next project.
Okie dokie.
Who knew Dayball was such a good actor, huh?
Who knew? Love it.
They should call the Rams
Yeah, they should. They should take a page out of their book.
next time they want to do videos.
Guys, it's time for our favorite segment, more or less. Get out the foam fingers.
It's been way too long. We didn't clean these.
Where's yours?
What is that?
It's like,
Where did this go? Why do I have a blue one?
she's got an off-brand
Hold on, what is this knockoff? What
in
is
the-
this? Sean's shrugging his shoulders. I'm not even a part of the team. Come on. All right, Packers, 10.5 wins according to FanDuel. More or less, what do we like?
More.
More across the board. Sen, why do you like more?
Their schedule's quite favorable, and I mean, I just need you to be with that blue foam finger from now on.
What is that?
When I look at their schedule, it does start out nicely, and the hard games are evenly spaced, so they have some time to recover from those. They also have a late bye, which could mean a nice ramp up to the playoffs.
Sometimes you overthink these things, too. It's like Matt LaFleur is 13 wins in the bag every year.
Every
Matt
year.
LaFleur,
Thank you.
13 wins.
But
Easy,
without
at least.
Devontae Adams this year, is that going to make a nah?
Their defense actually is pretty
looks
nasty.
great. The division.
Drafted well.
I'm fine.
Patriots, 8.5 wins according to FanDuel. I'm going over. End of the season, they went on that tear. They started to get things together. Mac Jones started to look a little bit better. They won 7 in a row.
Look at those first
Hawk,
three.
as a former Patriot, I'm hurt that you said
I'm
under.
sorry. I don't mean to hurt your feelings, Greg, but they lost J.C. Jackson. They lost Karras. They lost Shaq Mason. They lost Josh McDaniels. I mean, they lost a lot of things.
I'm looking at the middle of their schedule, and October tends to be Bill Belichick's month. So, like, those feel like wins to me. The first 4 are going to be tough.
Yeah, they
Like,
are.
I get it.
Look
But
at
then you look at kind of the middle of the schedule, and you're like, oh man, the Patriots are going to get good. We're going to have to start talking about this.
The end of the schedule.
What's going on with their amazing draft, right? All that stuff. But I think it's going to be about
When expectations are low for the Patriots, that's when they do their
That's when they
best work.
succeed.
And
Especially
they
when they have
made the
Tom Brady.
playoffs with
Last
a
year.
rookie quarterback. How many
did.
teams do that? Mac Jones is going to get a lot better. People sleeping
Yeah,
on
with
that.
He's going to get a lot of better.
He's going to get a lot of better.
And,
All right. Titans, 9.5 wins according to FanDuel. Did they get a lot of better? I think I've seen that.
Titans are getting a lot of worse.
the redder one.
Why?
I'm
What do you
going
do?
more.
Why you go more?
Because their division stinks, and they're built for success. They have Derrick Henry. I mean, if he comes back and stays healthy all season, and they have
He was out a long time last year.
They're going to do more than 9.5. I like
Didn't help him when he was running for like 1.8 yards per carry against your Bengals.
Oh, wow, man. That's how you're going to do it. That's how you're going to do it. I can't wait till Henry comes in studio. so
I
can
don't
play
like that week
clip
6
for him.
bye for them, especially for a team that takes that much. They play so physically. You get a week 6 bye that's quite early. You want that bye to be a little bit later if you play like the Titans do. At least
They've had a terrible offseason. They had to trade A.J. Brown because they couldn't afford him. They're missing 3 offensive linemen. They don't know who's going to start on their offensive line. I think they.
And
should
Ryan
take it to
Tannehill
line.
seems a little like in his feelings.
That was a weird.
I'm not mentoring anybody.
That was interesting.
It was fine, but
If Mahomes came in here right now and asked you to mentor them to take your role, you mean to tell me you'd be like, yes, let me show you all of my tricks?
Yeah, she's
I'd be like-
Canadian. She's too
Yeah,
nice.
she
She
might
would
be.
do it.
You're right.
She would do it.
Bears, more or less 6.5 wins. What do we think of the Bears?
Come on, we got to agree on something here. Boom, boom, boom. There we go.
Why you guys
Meme
go-
alert.
Why?
O-line, wide receivers, questionable. Pass rush, very questionable. O-line again, it's not great.
Yep.
Greg, why are you going?
I just expected them to do more to support Justin Fields. They
did
are
nothing.
acting
Like
like,
their
a
O-line?
team that inherited the quarterback and doesn't want him to succeed. The O-line, the receiver group, and
won
Luke
6
Getsy is their
last year.
offensive coordinator, not a guy that's had any experience doing it. Maybe he'll be great, but I don't know.
All right, let's talk about the Falcons. More or less 4.5 wins. They lost their shining star in Matty Ice. Apparently the Colts are loving him.
To be more
he's the wrong color.
No. Okay. Yeah.
You want to go up red?
Well, 4.5 is so little.
Yeah.
Why are you guys going more?
Well, they won more than that last season. I think that if you look to see, they've added, so there's not just one guy who can catch passes this year. They've got two, and Cordero People are sleeping on Cordero.
They got some playmakers.
Nobody's talking about Cordero Patterson anymore. Marcus Mariota, I understand that that's not the sexiest pick of all these quarterbacks who move teams, but he has familiarity with Arthur Smith, and they also got Desmond Ridder, who is kind of like Marcus Mariota, should that be the case and be necessary. So
Going more. I think actually Ridder is going to start. I think Ridder and London, they remind me of when Dalton and A.J. Green came into the Bengals. Nobody was expecting anything. Carson had left, similar to Matt Ryan, and they just started throwing it up, and A.J. was going up to get the rock, and that's what London does great. He just goes up and gets the rock.
I think their defense is further ahead than people think, too. A.J. Terrell, Grady Jarrett.
Wow, okay.
It's
They got
also
an
one
edge
of those
rusher from Penn State. They did a nice job, and they got my favorite linebacker of the draft, and my one fan. I did way too much for the draft.
This is a lot of
my
Falcons.
fun fact.
It's also 4.5. That number is so low. They say, like, in the NFL, there's nothing harder than winning a game in the NFL. Nope, it's exactly as easy as every other sport. One team wins, one loses. To lose 12 is hard. Like, it's hard.
I've done it multiple times, though. So
we went there.
That's why I'm here.
We're there now. We're there now. All right, let's talk about the Lions. Sims team, more or less than 6.5 wins. Come on, give me some more.
Let's do it.
I want more Lions in my life. Give me some primetime games. What are we doing?
Why, Cynthia?
Cynthia, why?
I've never seen you so happy.
Yeah, why are you so excited
usually
about your
pretend
team?
that you don't even like this team.
It's all a lie. I love the Lions. They just hurt me. They hurt my soul, Austin.
Are you going to proudly wear your Lions, sweatshirts and?
I proudly wear my Lions stuff now. I have some great vintage stuff. It's great. Barry Sanders stuff is always and will always be the best. But when I look at their schedule and I look to see where they did make improvements, they had a very nice draft. So let's go more. I'm not suggesting that they're going to the playoffs, but it is more than 6.5 wins.
All right, I love it. I can't wait to watch them on Hard Knocks. So many fun personalities there. All right, coming up, who did the schedule gods smile upon for 2022? We make our picks for the teams with the easiest and hardest schedule.
We're talking You gotta make this one count. This
for the upcoming season on GameDay review, schedule release presented by Ryan. Oh.
It's time to get on your feet.
Let's ride.
All right, scan the QR code on the screen with your phone or tablet and follow the link to purchase tickets today to see your favorite NFL matchups. Purchase in the next 48 hours and receive 25% discount to NFLshop.com and be entered to win a pair of Super Bowl tickets. All discount codes will be sent from the NFL 1 week post-purchase via email. All right, which team has the easiest schedule? Sen, what do you think?
Eagles. Eagles have the easiest schedule. I mapped them all out last night, so we're good.
I believe you.
Thank God.
Which team has the, are you easiest schedule?
Yeah,
you
I don't want to, like, it's hard to disagree with it.
You started with Cynthia. We can't.
I forgot how to do TV
have a different answer. Eagles were my answer initially, but she took it, and she's the queen here. I'm going to go Colts because they're in the worst division. And out of division in the NFC, not that tough either. And they don't have to play the Colts, who are the best team in this division.
Well, I'm going to go with the Cowboys because they're also a very easy division, and they play the AFC South, so the combination of both of those divisions has a really easy route for the Cowboys.
All right, which team has the hardest schedule? What do you think, Greg?
I'd go Raiders. I think the AFC West is the best division in football. They're probably the least talented, as tough as that is. And then they have to play the NFC West out of division. They also have their 17th game, I believe, is against, or an extra game against the Patriots. That's tough. It's pretty difficult.
Hawk?
Yeah, I'm going with the Rams. I mean, their division is hard. They got to play the Cardinals. They got to play the Niners. And then they got to go on the road against, like, KC, Green Bay, Tampa Bay. They have Vegas at home. They have Buffalo at home. Good thing they're really, really good, and they spend all their money for all the best players in the league.
Then
I'm looking at the Bengals. Why? Because, first of all, their whole division is it's a difficult division too. And number two, when you look at the order, it gets harder as the schedule goes on. There's really no reprieve, right? So the easier part for them, and then it gets even worse. It's very punishing. Very punishing.
All right, we only have a couple more minutes left, so finally time for Write This Down. We're going to tell you our can't-miss games of 2022, starting with Hawk. What do you got? What do you got?
I'm going with Baltimore and Buffalo in Week 4. You got Lamar Jackson in a very big contract year versus Josh Allen. Not too far away from getting his money. They were the same draft class, and going to be a lot of hype around it. I think that's going to be an exciting watch.
I was really hoping it was Week 13 because it would be so poetic. But Bills at Chiefs, I love the opportunity for the game that changed the overtime rule.
Yeah.
I want to see this. I want to see what happens in this one.
Writing that down.
I go Rams Chiefs. That was a game that changed the NFL the last time we saw it, and it kind of did. If you look at win totals since Sean McVay entered the league, these are the two best teams in the NFL. If I had to pick the two favorites to make the Super Bowl, this would be it.
I love it. It's going to be so good. All right, give me Week 15 Bengals at Bucks. Burrow versus Brady. There is a 19-year age gap. I don't believe they've ever played each other.
Greg.
I was just
19
waiting.
years?
Like if you stick around long enough, you turn into the guy that the age jokes are about. But I consider that a success.
Zoom in on Greg.
It's like, yeah,
Let's see the wrinkles.
You know what I had to overcome to get
them.
here? Looking like this, as old as I am. Come on.
Guys, this has been so fun breaking down this schedule. The gang's back together.
Just 18 weeks.
18
NFL season
18 more Sundays, 4 more months. That's all we have to get through. That's a long time. What are we going to do? Well,
I don't know. You want to come over to my house? We can just hang out.
We can hang. We can have a barbecue. Guys, thank you so much for watching NFL Game Day View schedule release presented by Verizon. We'll see you in 4 months. How's that? Thanks for watching.
Keep the channel on. We'll be back.
Toodaloo! We're that much closer to football.